14, 6, 9, 6. You type out onto the tablet. You're not sure how you know this, but you're certain this riddle is referring to the chapter numbers where Jesus feeds the 5,000. An affirmative chime chirps from the door and it slowly opens. You look at Alice with a self-satisfied smirk. She nods, and you think for a moment you catch a hint of a smile on her lips as well.
Not bad, you've got a knack for this, it seems.
She peers through the crack in the door, but waits for you to open it.
Let's not celebrate just yet, though. We have no idea what's on the other side of this.
She looks back at you and gives you a once-over. The pity in her eyes does more damage to your self-esteem than anything she could have said.
You good to keep going? I've got your back if you need it.
She looks down at the syringe in her hand, then meets your eye with a meaningful stare. You nod and move to open the door, not wanting to seem any weaker than you already do. The next room has a less clinical and more industrial mechanical look. The lights are dim, and the walls are made of unpainted concrete. You have the distinct impression of a large warehouse. Near the door on the left side of this room are a row of 5 cylinders filled with a clear liquid. In each is a man, with tubes entering his own body at various places, as well as some sort of breathing apparatus. You stare in horror, not only filled with a dread at seeing the human form punctured so clinically in so many places, but at an uncanny realization that creeps upon you like a mounting scream that can no longer be contained. They're all identical. Each man is an exact match to the men around him. Pale white skin and long blonde hair, and a clean-shaven face with a slim but muscular build. You cannot tell the man's eye color due to his closed eyes, but he has a strong jaw and high cheekbones. Alice stiffens as she comes to the same realization a moment after you.
This has to mean something. They're doing something far bigger than just you and me.
She turns to you and takes a step closer.
You said something about computers earlier. Do you think this has anything to do with that, or with you?
A spark of annoyance flickers through your fear, and you scowl a bit at her. No, I don't think me knowing how to use a computer is related to the 5 clones in stasis! You take a few deep breaths in an attempt to calm yourself. She flinches when you raise your voice, and her eyes widen in fear for a moment. She otherwise doesn't react.
Are they even alive?
She asks, seemingly to change the subject and fill the awkward silence.
That's exactly what we were trying to discover.
You both bolt around to look at the other side of the room. A long panel with many readings you cannot parse sits next to what looks like a boxy bomb disposal robot. You had been so concerned with the quintuplets that you neglected to notice it on the other side of the room. You don't see anywhere the voice could have come from. Could he be hiding behind the long control panel over there? You whisper to Alice.
No, I'm the small robot.
The voice says in a tone you're surprised to hear feels full of regret, as if the robot were embarrassed for answering the door in pajamas. As the voice speaks again, you can now be confident it's coming from a speaker within the small bomb disposal robot.
They put me in here for the test, you see. I can't move.
You're the robot?
She asks, her voice steady but tinged with disbelief.
If you're the one talking, then start explaining. Who or what are you, and why are we here?
True to his statement, the robot does not move, though it lets out a disappointed sigh.
You're here for the same reason I am. To be part of his revenge.
You move forward. As the fear of threat diminishes, the frustration from the robot's vague half-statements grow. Just tell us what's going on here. What are you anyway? The little robot is silent for a moment. The lack of any movement or breathing gives the impression that perhaps it has gone inactive. After a few seconds, however, it begins to speak again.
I was a scientist here at Caeser Industries. My name was Dr. Alcazan, though now I am called Harris T7.
As you reach about arm's length of a robot, you see said label on the machine itself. You were a person? Your mind swims, trying to accept this.
I like to think I still am.
The robot says, with a tone of resignation. A buzzer sounds off, interrupting your thoughts. The control panel to the right of the robot lights up, and a timer starts counting down.
2 minutes remaining.
Damn hell.
The robot growls.
So impatient. That'll be your undoing, you know.
2 minutes?
Alice says to herself while glancing wildly around the room. Her anger grows and she lashes out at the robot.
What does the timer mean?
Her eyes narrow and her teeth grit.
What happens when it runs out?
Despite not moving, you can feel the robot's attention go back to you.
You have very little time. To your right on the panel will be 2 red buttons.
Alice darts over and holds her left hand to hover over the panel, her right still holding the syringe.
Harris, if you know what's happening, now's the time to tell us.
She turns her attention to you.
We need to figure out how to stop this or survive it.
This is very important.
He spoke gravely.
I need you to press the left button.
Wait, stop! You shout. Alice tenses back, one hand just above the left button and the other still gripping her syringe. You hold a hand outwards towards her and turn back to the robot. What do the buttons do? The robot sighs and after a moment of silence answers.
The left button will drain those cylinders and end the life support of the 5 clones. It will also deactivate the electrical current coursing through my body, such as it is, and allow me to move again.
You want us to kill them? You reel back in shock at how casually he suggests the act.
Is it killing if they've never really been alive?
Condescension drips from his tone.
They're clones. I assure you, none of them are the original.
Alice retains that even-tempered tone you've recognized she forces under pressure.
You said you're still a person, then act like one. Be honest with us. Why should we trust you, Harris? What happens if we press the right button instead?
The robot goes silent. Alice, you say evenly. Why don't you press the right button and find out?
Wait! Wait!
The robot begs.
If you press the right button, the electrical surge will increase, and I will be murdered.
Murdered?
She repeats softly, her tone cutting through the robot's desperate words.
Funny choice of words for someone asking us to end 5 lives like it's nothing.
She looks back at the robot, and the grip on her syringe tightens.
You say you're a person, Harris, but you're asking us to trust you while giving us half-truths and ultimatums. Why should we press either button if we can't trust what you're saying?
You look at the timer.
1 minute remaining.
You grit your teeth as the weight of your situation forces its way upon you. Because if we don't, something worse will happen. Alice turns to you for direction.
What do you think? Because right now I'm not sure if trusting him or the alternative is the bigger risk.
They're not people!
The robot insists with growing desperation.
They haven't even been fully programmed yet. Let them out, and they'll just be mindless animals.
Time slows to a crawl. You have no good options, but you have to choose the best of several bad choices. What will you choose? Do you A, press the left button and drain the life of the clones while freeing Dr. Alcazan? B, press the right button, electrocuting Dr. Alcazan and awakening the 5 unconscious men? Or C, do nothing and face the consequences of the timer? The choice is yours.